Marty, Spin Evans!
Yay!
There was a time when American children stopped everything at 5 o'clock to watch a summer at a working ranch unfold week by week. The horses, the bunkhouses, the slow rivalry between two boys becoming friends.
Why don't you watch out what you're doing?
Most of the cast is gone now. The show itself has quietly slipped from view.
Tim Considine later had a career as a photographer and a writer. He died last week at age 81.
Tonight, we look back at Spin and Marty, the Disney show America forgot. Spin Evans had a swagger that wasn't really a swagger, more like a kid who knew the world a little too well. Tim Considine brought that to the role at 14, and Disney handed him 3 serials in a row. He was the older brother millions of American boys wish they had. From the ranch, he stepped into another set, another family, My 3 Sons, where for 5 seasons he played the eldest, Mike Douglas. Then in 1965, after a quiet dispute with the producer, he was gone from the show. Disney kept the family. Considine kept on walking. He didn't disappear so much as redirect into photography, into motor racing, into books about Grand Prix history that he wrote himself. He showed up at conventions when he wanted to. He stayed private when he didn't. On March 3, 2022, he died at home in Mar Vista, California. He was 81. The boys at R Ranch all answered to Spin. Most of those boys are old men now, or no longer here. Considine was the first of the leads to go. Marty Markham arrived at the ranch as the rich kid no one wanted around. The character softened over 3 serials, but the boy who played him, David Stollery, kept something held back the whole time. By the early 60s, with a few more credits behind him, he made a decision Hollywood almost never forgives. He walked away. He enrolled at Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. He learned to draw cars. By the late 60s, he was on staff at Toyota's American studio. And when the first Celica rolled off the line in 1970, the lines belonged in part to him. Most former child actors spend the rest of their lives explaining why they aren't acting anymore. Stollery never seemed to need to. He kept designing. He raised a family. He showed up at the occasional Mouse Club reunion when his old friends asked. At 85, he is still alive, quietly, on his own terms. The boy who played Marty did the rarest thing a child star can do. He became a different person and let the first one go. She was the only Mouseketeer who walked into the world of Spin and Marty as if she'd always been there. Annette Funicello joined the cast for the 3rd serial in 1957, when the boys at R were a little older and a girl from a neighboring camp was suddenly part of the picture. She was 14, already the most recognized face on American television, and she carried that lightly. The ranch dance scene, boys in clean shirts, Annette in a dress. The slow, embarrassed shuffle to a song someone's father would have known is the kind of moment a whole generation kept. From there, she became something larger than any single show. The beach films with Frankie Avalon, the records, The Shape of a Certain American 1960s. In 1987, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. She told the public 5 years later, on her own timing, in her own words. The illness took her gradually, over decades. She died on April 8, 2013, at 70. Most of her obituaries led with the Mouseketeer ears. The Spin and Marty fans remembered the dance. Carey Jr. was already a real cowboy by the time he showed up at R Ranch. He'd ridden in John Ford's pictures since the late 40s. 3 Godfathers. She wore a yellow ribbon, The Searchers. When Disney needed a head counselor for their summer camp serial, they cast a man who actually knew which end of a horse was which. Children watching at home didn't know any of that. They just knew Bill Burnett seemed like the kind of grown-up you wanted in charge. Carey kept working in westerns long after the genre had quietly faded. Small parts in Tombstone and Back to the Future Part 3. in anything that needed someone who looked like he'd ridden in. He died on December 27, 2012, at 91. He was among the last of John Ford's stock company. The boys at Triple R never knew they'd been counseled by a piece of American film history. If you watched Disney in the late 50s, you knew Moochie. Round face, freckles, a voice that hadn't quite figured itself out yet. Kevin Corcoran was 8 years old when he turned up at Triple R Ranch in 1957, and he was already a familiar face from Old Yeller. Disney kept him close. Pollyanna, Swiss Family Robinson, Toby Tyler. For half a decade, he was the kid brother of every American household. The voice changed. The roles dried up, the way they always do. Corcoran did something most former child actors never manage. He stayed in the industry, but on the other side of the camera. He produced television for 30 years. Murder, She Wrote, Angel, dozens more. He died on October 6, 2015, at 66. The illness was colorectal cancer. The boy who tagged along behind Spin and Marty had been quietly running shows for grown-ups all along. You probably never knew the name. You knew the voice. J. Pat O'Malley was born in 1904, and by the 1950s he had become Disney's character man, a face you could trust, a brogue you could place. He turned up at Triple R Ranch in one of those quiet supporting parts that anchored a Disney serial without ever needing the spotlight. That was the smaller half of his work. The bigger half lived in cartoons. He was the Walrus and the Carpenter in Alice in Wonderland. He was Jock the Scotty in Lady and the Tramp, Colonel the Sheepdog in 101 Dalmatians, one of the vultures in the Jungle Book. Generations of American children grew up to his voice without ever learning the shape of his face. He died on February 27, 1985, at 80. By then, half the studio's library carried his fingerprints. The boys at the ranch had been listening to him their whole lives. Sam was the cook at Triple R Ranch. He had a Cantonese accent that the writers leaned on. Those were the conventions of the time, and a warmth on screen that the writers couldn't have written. Sammee Tong was born in San Francisco in 1901, the child of immigrants. By the time he turned up at Disney in his 50s, he'd been a vaudevillian, a nightclub act, and a working character actor for 3 decades. The bigger role was still ahead. Bachelor Father, 6 seasons on CBS, where he played Peter Tong as the household's quiet center. The series ended in 1962. Hollywood is hard on a 60-something character actor with a specific accent and a specific era of fame. On October 27, 1964, his life ended quietly at home. He was 63. The cookhouse at Triple R was always somebody's whole world. It had been his. Six summers, 3 serials, a black and white ranch in California. Most of the people who lived there for those few weeks of filming are gone. Tim Considine in 2022, Annette Funicello in 2013, Carey Jr., Kevin Corcoran, J. Pat O'Malley, Sammee Tong. One of them, David Stollery, simply walked away from acting and built a different life. The serials themselves drifted out of rotation, off the broadcast schedules, off Disney+. Whole generations grew up without ever hearing the name. If you remember racing home at 5 o'clock for Triple R Ranch, if you had a brother who wanted to be Spin, or you were the quiet one who saw yourself in Marty, leave a memory in the comments. The names fade more slowly when we say them out loud.